Red Bull has been crushing their competition for the past couple of years, but let's be real, Perez has been playing second fiddle to Verstappen. But after being denied a well-deserved victory, maybe he'll finally have his moment in the spotlight at this upcoming race. He did manage to snag a second-place finish last race, which was definitely a big win for Red Bull as they secured first and second place. But who knows, anything can happen in this sport. Maybe the tides will turn and Perez will come out on top this time. Last season was a bittersweet pill for Sergio Perez at the Jeddah Cornish circuit. Despite snatching his first ever Formula One pole position for the 2022 event, the Mexican was left reeling after a shock early safety car period allowed his rivals to swoop in and claim the lead with some sneaky pit stops. Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen were the lucky ones, leaving Perez to settle for a disheartening fourth-place finish behind Carlos Sainz. The disappointment was palpable, and it's clear that Perez is still feeling the sting. But ever the optimist, Perez is determined to make a comeback at this year's race, declaring that it's his turn to win in Saudi Arabia. With the momentum from his previous race in Bahrain, the stage is set for a fierce battle on the track. There are definitely a lot of improvements we can still do to try and make our car better. We gathered plenty of information from the first race, and we have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. It will be very interesting to see how everyone performs in Jeddah this week. It is a very different track to Bahrain. I am looking forward to going back to this circuit after getting pole in 2022. I was very unlucky last year with the timing of the safety car while leading the race, so hopefully it can be my turn to win. Christian Horner isn't mincing his words when it comes to Sergio Perez's performance on the track. According to the Red Bull team principal, the Mexican driver needs to bring his A-game week in and week out if he hopes to take on the mighty Max Verstappen in the upcoming 2023 F1 campaign. And let's be real here, Verstappen is the highest benchmark on the grid, making this no small feat. Perez may have joined forces with Verstappen at Red Bull after a stint with Racing Point, now Aston Martin, but he's been playing second fiddle to the Dutchman ever since. Sure, he helped Verstappen clinch the Drivers' Trophy in 2021, and they both powered Red Bull to their first Constructors' title in almost a decade last season. But let's not forget who's in the driver's seat. Can Perez rise to the occasion and prove his worth against Verstappen? It remains to be seen. Stay tuned. Sergio Perez may have enjoyed some wins and podiums since joining Red Bull, but let's be real, he's often been left in the dust by the raw, unbridled speed of Max Verstappen. Their pole position, victory, and points tallied over the past 2 seasons tell the tale. So, what does Perez need to do to take on Verstappen? Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal, had a cheeky response at first. His lap time. But he quickly got serious and explained that Verstappen is a tough competitor and the highest benchmark in F1. Perez needs to bring his A-game, not just against Verstappen, but against the likes of Ferrari's drivers, Mercedes' drivers, and even the veteran Fernando Alonso in his snazzy green car. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there on the track, and Perez will need to be firing on all cylinders if he hopes to make a dent in Verstappen's dominance. Christian Horner is confident that Sergio Perez has what it takes to handle the pressure of being in the same racing team as Max Verstappen. After all, Perez is mature enough to deal with the challenge, according to the Red Bull team principal. But it's not just about handling the pressure. Horner is quick to point out that Perez brings a wealth of experience to the table. And let's be real here, Red Bull's previous driver lineup movements weren't exactly the smoothest of rides. Horner acknowledges that it may have been unfair to bring in Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon so soon, but Perez's experience made him the perfect fit for the team. I think Checo with that experience. He's been through some of the hard knocks, and so on with his career to that point. And I think what he's brought to us is, he's a very rounded guy. He's a great team player. He's got a good outlook on the development of the car, and he's very easy to work with. So that's all the reasons for taking him in the first place, and he's delivering on that. Christian Horner may have his doubts about Sergio Perez's chances of taking on Max Verstappen for the Formula One World Championship in 2023, but he's not ruling out the possibility entirely. After all, the Mexican driver has the capability to compete at the highest level. But let's face it, Verstappen is a force to be reckoned with. He's coming off one of the most dominant seasons in F1 history, with a whopping 15 wins and a staggering 454 points, both of which are new records. While Perez managed to secure 2 wins and finish the third overall, he was still a significant 149 points behind his teammate and rival Verstappen. So, can he close the gap and mount a serious challenge this season? According to Horner, it's possible, but he's not holding his breath. As Perez heads into the third season alongside Verstappen, he certainly has the talent and skill to compete at the highest level. But whether he can take on the reigning champion and come out on top remains to be seen. Perez and Max are 2 different drivers, and Red Bull has been trying to balance the car so it fits both drivers, but now they seem to be confident that they finally might have found the solution for that. The team had to make some major changes to the car last year to address understeer issues, which initially favoured Perez's driving style. However, as the car's weight was reduced and its front end improved, Verstappen came to the forefront. Red Bull's motorsport advisor Helmut Marko has suggested that the team's 2023 Challenger has been designed to suit both drivers. While Verstappen prefers a car with a strong front end that bites into turns, Perez is said to prefer a more docile vehicle. But according to Marko, Red Bull may have found a solution that allows both drivers to show their qualities. Marko said, "We had a car last year that Checo did very well with in the beginning, and after it was developed, Max had been more and more happy. The difference is that Max loves a strong front end, really biting. Checo is a little different. He wants a more docile car. But we seem to have found a solution that allows both drivers to show their qualities." While Verstappen prefers a strong front end and is known for his ability to handle a nervous rear, Perez is looking for a more stable rear end that can help him navigate corners with ease. However, both drivers have expressed satisfaction with the direction the RB19 is headed, with Perez confirming that they are aiming for the same things. It's worth noting that Red Bull has a history of producing cars with a strong front end, something that Verstappen has learned to cope with over the years. Speaking about his driving preferences, the Dutch driver noted that he adapts to what he gets and has never experienced a fast car with understeer in his life. As for Perez, his issue isn't necessarily with understeer, but with his ability to handle a less stable rear end compared to Verstappen. The Mexican driver acknowledges that there are very few drivers who like understeer, and that he wants a good front end just like his teammate, but with a more stable rear. Despite these differences in driving styles, Red Bull's motorsport advisor Helmut Marko believes that their 2023 car can cater to both drivers' needs. The upcoming race in Jeddah presents a crucial opportunity for Checo to showcase his true potential and prove that he's not just a mere number 2 driver at Red Bull. This could be his chance to make a statement to the entire world, and if he manages to clinch a victory, it could be a massive boost to his confidence. Despite being a reliable teammate to Max in the past 2 seasons, Checo has never been one to shy away from expressing his discontent. He felt mistreated when the team asked him to let Verstappen win last season and voiced his dissatisfaction over the radio. But now, the time has come for Checo to step into the spotlight and shine. So, what are your thoughts on Perez's statement? Do you think the Mexican can be on the highest place of the podium, overlooking his teammate Verstappen? Or do you think that the Dutchman will wipe the floor with everyone on the grid? What do you think about this upcoming race? If you want to know more about McLaren's desperate state, make sure to click on the video above, and click on the like button, hit that subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss out.